Open the door.
Welcome back to the channel. It's Point of Review Media. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you. Welcome. Drop a comment below so that I can personally welcome you to the channel. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can always get our latest content. Another beautiful day in Arizona. Sun's out as always, but it's fall, so it's starting to get kind of cooler out. Better time to be outside, better time to be out driving. No real plans today as far as what car to drive or if there's going to be a car to drive, but I've got a feeling if I bug enough people at work, someone will let me drive their car. Got my camera stuff with me, and we're hoping we can record. So let's see what happens. Fitness vlog. We are taking the stairs. Alright, he said it was on the second floor. Let's go find this car. White. That looks good in white. That's crazy, actually. That's a coincidence, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Oh, look at that. They upgraded the steering wheel. Dang. The interiors are nice in these. Way better than the first generation. You'll be able to see eventually. Alright guys, so I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pretty excited to be driving this car. I know I just drove an STI and it was insane, and it was, I don't know, it was a car I've always wanted to drive and I would potentially own if I was in the market for a sedan. I would absolutely buy one. This car, though, I'm excited to drive for another reason, a special reason. This is a Scion TC. This is a Series 2 TC. My first brand new car was a Scion TC. Back when I was, I don't know, 21, I bought a 2009 Scion TC, and it was the first new car I ever owned. In fact, it's the only new car I've ever owned. I ended up trading it in maybe a year and a half later when I got the Mazda Speed 6, which was an awesome choice. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll always have a soft spot for the TC because that was my first brand new car. But I gotta say, right off the bat, the interior in these got a lot better. The interior in the first generation TC was, you know, it was wicked symmetrical. Nothing actually faced the driver. Here, you like the stereo system is angled towards you a little bit, which is nice. All in all, it's a really clean looking interior. So I'll flip this camera around and start driving. So this is the 2014 Scion TC. This one's automatic. The one I had in 2009 was manual, but you know, to each their own, whatever works for you. When they came out with the Series 2 TC, it was kind of the beginning of the downfall of Scion. 2014 was when they did the last facelift for the TC. Sales had already declined a lot. At that point, it was already competing with the FRS, which, you know, took an already troubled car and kind of killed it off. Scion came out in 2004, I believe, as Toyota's youth brand. And the TC was their best-selling car. And I've always been a fan more of the first generation. I've always been more of a fan of the first generation TC, but this is the first time I've been in a Series 2. I gotta say, right off the bat, the interior is a lot nicer. I like the shape of the steering wheel. Obviously, it gives you more of that kind of aggressive race car-ish feeling. This is the spiritual successor of the Celica, which in the 80s the Celica was a pretty big deal. It was a pretty badass rally car. They had done a lot of cool stuff with it. And I think almost every generation from the 80s even into the beginning of the 90s was available and offered with some kind of turboed engine. And then once you got into 7th generation Celica, it was just a 1.8 liter. Let's see, we do have a manual mode, so we're gonna mess with that. We don't have the paddle shifters like we had in the Lanza, which would be nice, especially considering we have the mount on. Huge shout out to Ryan for letting me take his car for a drive to review it. In the STI video at the beginning, I realized that I was turning my head way too much. I got dizzy, you know, watching that video and editing that video. So I'm gonna try not to do that so much. So the Series 2 TC, they got a bigger engine. Went from a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder with 161 horsepower to a 2.5 liter with 180 horsepower. So you got a little bit more power out of it. And it's also more fuel efficient. So they were able to increase power and increase efficiency, which is the #1 goal at the moment. So it's nice that in the Series 2 TC they were able to do both. One of the things I was wondering if they were going to still have in the Series 2 was that waterfall that they had in the Series 1 with the covered radio. And at first I was almost disappointed that they didn't, but I do like the interior here, how it's kind of angled towards the driver. It gives you the control of the audio interface right there. Being that youth brand, they were always trying to attract with things like stereos with Bluetooth, big touchscreens, things like that, and all the aftermarket support that you have for these cars, TRD lowering springs, TRD superchargers, stuff like that they had on the 1st generation. I know you can still get a lot of that stuff on the Series 2, and at that point there was even more, you know, options outside of TRD available. Between the two, driving the Series 1, from what I remember, you can definitely feel the power increase. I'm not sure what the weight difference is. I'll look that up and I'll put that in the video too. But you can definitely feel this is a little more, I don't know what the word should be. I don't want to say spunky. It feels agile. It feels tight. It definitely feels more tight than the original TC. The steering is stiff and really comfortable with that steering wheel. The miles per gallon went up. On the Series 1, I believe you got about 20 miles per gallon city, 27 highway. Whereas on the Series 2, increased to 2331. Well, to me personally, I feel like it's a shame that Toyota went the way they did. I don't know, I feel like since the Supra died off in the late 90s, early 2000s, depending on where you are in the world, they didn't really make a relevant car for a while. They had the Celica, but by that point, like I said, it had been chopped down to a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated engine. It was a car that looked nice or looked quick and edgy or whatever, but wasn't. And then when that kind of was phased out, the TC was phased in, and like I said, it was really popular. The best year they had for the TC was 2006, where they sold almost 80,000 of them. But just as quickly as that happened, remember the car came out in 2004, just as quickly as that happened, they were down to selling only about 15,000 of them in 2016. Has a nice pickup. It makes a decent sound. There's not a lot of road noise, but there's a lot of exhaust noise, which for me I like. But as an everyday driver, that might be something that some people would, you know, pick a different car over just for the drone. I like it though. It's smooth though. It's very comfortable. It's smooth, and you can pick one of these up for next to nothing used. You can grab a Series 2 TC for, you know, with decent mileage, under 10 grand, easily used. And even you got to think, when these things were brand new, you were able to pick them up for, you know, I think I got mine for 18 and a half with Scion's whole pure pricing nonsense where they didn't let you try and get a good price on your car. One of the things I love about the TC is the glass roof. I wish when I was researching to actually do this review after not driving a TC for so many years, I found out that the TC actually has really, really high crash ratings, especially in comparison to the Celica, which was average. The TC got like a 4 or 5 stars based on different impacts. So it's a pretty safe car too, even though you have the glass roof. I remember when I bought mine back in 2009, a lot of people were like, well, how safe is it really with a glass roof? What happens if you crash? Well, apparently, still pretty safe. I like the seating position. It's low to the ground. This car is stock height, but when you get in it and sit, you're low. For me, I like that. Getting out of the car, maybe not so much, but at least while I'm driving it, I like that low to the ground feeling. And obviously with the amount of aftermarket parts available for a car like this too, you could throw on some springs or some coilovers and make it super low. Since we're going to be on this straight for a minute, I do want to drop a quick thank you to everyone that's watched the video so far. Please, again, I know I said earlier, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. This is just the beginning, and drop a comment down below so I can reach out and welcome you personally. And if you live in the Phoenix area or the lower East Valley area, and you have a car, specifically modified cars, if you have a modified vehicle, I'd love to get you on the channel, discuss the car and what's been done to it. So definitely either drop a comment below, shoot me an email at pointofreviewmedia@gmail.com, and we can collaborate, set something up. If this thing could have more power, it'd be a pretty fun car. Obviously we got the limitations of the front wheel drive. I think if there was just some more power on this, is 180 horsepower. If we could jump it up to about 250, a pretty fun car. It handles quite well. You know, not too much body roll. There's a little bit of body roll, but again, get, you know, strut tower bar, some decent springs, struts, sway bars. Okay, to do a whole bunch of work, and then you won't have that body roll anymore. Hey, same car. I don't know, it's pretty cool to be back behind the wheel of one of these. Apparently they took some styling cues from the FRS. I don't really see it personally. And that's probably a good thing if a lot of people didn't see it, because, I don't know, again, I feel like Scion killed this car by releasing the FRS. They should have just maybe made that a Toyota, you know, GT or GT86 or 86, whatever they're calling it this week, right from the jump, rather than branding it as a Scion. It should have come back as, you know, like a mini Toyota Supra or whatever, so that, you know, all the super fanboys could jump on it. Making it a Scion, I think, just put it in direct competition of the TC, and if you have 20 grand to spend on a TC, realistically, you're going to spend the extra 4 or 5 grand and get the FRS. So, with a car that already had downward spiral of sales, I'm pretty sure that Scion killed this car off with the FRS. Which is a shame. There's a lot more room in the back than there is in the FRS. So it's still, you know, it's a practical car. And for someone that doesn't want something as sporty as the FRS, there's this. There's options for this. And there's the Series 1. Perfect timing. Speed bumps. I don't know how much longer Ryan plans on keeping this car, but if he's hanging on to it, he should definitely, you know, I don't know, maybe throw on an exhaust intake, and maybe a turbo. That was cool. So that was a 2014 Scion TC Series 2. Yeah, when I was younger, the TC was like really my thing. when I was a teenager, I really liked the Celica, and I was going to buy one day. And then 2004, the TC came out, and I was like, that's pretty cool, you know, maybe I'll look at that. And then 2009, I bought one. It was a brand new 2009 Scion TC, and it was a great car for the time I had it. The thing that bothered me about it was I would see like 10 of them on my way to work every day. So eventually I got to the point where I don't know, I wanted something unique that, you know, I wouldn't run into 10 of them every day. So I traded in the Scion for the Mazda Speed 6. As you could see just in the video, I think we saw 3 TCs, maybe 2 or 3 TCs, and we just drove up and down 2 streets. But overall, for, you know, under $20,000 or under $10,000 used, the TC is a great car, good commuter car, great for before you have kids, I guess. The back seat's big enough for small kids, but they'd outgrow it pretty quick. Seats are comfortable, plenty of leg room. Anyway, thank you so much, Ryan, for letting me borrow your car for a review. I really appreciate it. So guys, I messed up. So I was finishing editing the video this morning for the TC. So this is the 3rd outfit that I have worn in this video because it's stretched over 3 days now. I realized that I had not recorded an outro. I can't do that to you guys. I can't just leave you hanging. So I just wanted to wrap the video up real quick, and I also want to touch base on some feedback that I've received. My last 2 videos have been kind of long, so I'm going to keep things the same for the Built Not Bought series, because I feel like there's a lot of content when we start discussing car parts and things like that. But for the car reviews, I want to try and get them closer to 5 minutes. So we're going to change things up a little bit going forward and see how that works out. So before I keep going too long, make this video too much longer, I'm out.